Hey, I'm Alex, and today we are doing an FTP test to see how much I've improved over the past year. Me, I can't go anymore. On this channel, I'm documenting everything I'm learning and all my experiences while getting into the sport of triathlon and cycling. So if you're new to the sports as well and want to improve, well, make sure to follow along on this journey. For those of you that are new here, I started in the world of triathlon over a year ago, and I've recently started to document my journey to help you guys get into the sport as well, but also start to improve. I also post more adventure style content and actually have a bike packing video coming out very soon. So if any of you guys might be interested in that, definitely follow along because I'm sure it's going to be a real good one. So, for those of you that don't know, FTP stands for Functional Threshold Power and is the average amount of watts that a cyclist can put out for an hour. It's kind of seen as, I'd say, the best or the go-to way for getting an indication of a cyclist's fitness. So there are about 3 different ways to test your FTP. The first one is the classic. It's a 1 hour all out, and then you take the average of your watts throughout that hour, and that's your FTP. That one's probably best done out on the road, best doing up a climb. I've done a couple of those, and they probably give the most accurate out on the road FTP for yourself. You've also got a 20-minute FTP test, which is again a 20-minute all-out effort, and then you divide that by some numbers and that gives you an estimated hour FTP. The final one, which is the one I'm going to be doing today, is the ramp test, and this one is best done on the indoor trainer and can give a pretty good indication as to what your FTP will be, but is also great for kind of giving you an indication of how hard you should be working on that specific trainer. So how the ramp test works is that you'll start off pushing some low watts, and every minute the watts will start to increase gradually until you physically can't push the pedals anymore. It basically takes your best minute and then divides it by some number, I'm not too sure what it is, and that gives you your average FTP. So we're currently right in the middle of triathlon season over here in the UK, but I thought it's been a year since I took up the sport of triathlon. It's been about a year since I did my first ever ramp test, so I thought it'd be a really good time to get some kind of indication as to how much I've improved over the course of a year. But the earliest one I can find is from July the 3rd, 2024. It was in my dad's garage with his trainer, and I got an FTP of 280 watts. And at the time, I was roughly, I think, around 85 kg. So I was a lot heavier than I was now. And that gave me a watts per kilogram of 3.29. I don't think that's awful, it's not great, but to say I was at a stage where I hadn't really done any structured workouts and all my cycling had just been done very vibe-based for fun with one of my mates, I was pretty happy with it. It was a good base to start at. And yeah, since then, done a lot of workouts, done a lot of focus on my cycling to improve it. So it'll be interesting to see how far I've come since then. And some of my best power stats are as follows. So for 8 minutes, it's down as 373 watts, probably pushing up a good old Yorkshire hill. My 20-minute PB is 330 watts, and my 1 hour PB is 317 watts. And I'm pretty sure that the 20-minute and 1 hour one will have been from when I was over in Tenerife, and probably when I gave a good little push up Teide, which is the volcano over there. But interestingly, I wasn't actually like really pushing to get a good hour FTP. I was actually like holding back at times because I knew it was like a long climb. Teide's like the longest climb in Europe. It's like 30k or something like that, which is crazy. So I was definitely like holding back because it was my first time going up it, and I didn't, I couldn't get into my head like that I still had like another hour or another hour and a half to ride. So I was definitely taking my time to an extent, and I do think that if I was to go do that again now, I think I'd definitely be able to push, looking towards like that 325, maybe 330 for the hour. And I think that's probably a more accurate on the road FTP for myself. And I'm actually heading over to Mallorca in October, so I think that's going to be a really good time to like retest my my hour FTP out on the road, and another one to definitely stick around for, because I'm gonna have some awesome videos coming out around that time. But anyway, let's get moving, let's get this set up, and let's get this going. I'm always nervous before a ramp test. I don't know why, I just think it's like, in my head I'm like, I know I'm gonna die, and it's not gonna be fun, and my legs are gonna be knackered, and I'm literally gonna have to work to like the hardest I possibly can to push out these watts. So yeah, and I also had the T100 over the weekend, so they've recovered a bit, but I can still feel them a little bit. Let's have this. I sometimes hate these pedals. Whew, you're gonna be hearing a lot of big huffs and puffs throughout this. I mean, I am gonna skip to, like in the video, I'm not gonna show you probably until past the 300 watt stage, because it's just pointless. The ramp test is very easy to begin with. That is by design. It will suddenly become harder. Yeah, it definitely does. You literally hit like a stage and you go from like, oh, this is all right actually, to me, I can't go anymore. And I always find it's about, yeah, saying stay seated, and then I think my focus is always like pretty high cadence. You shouldn't really be dropping below like 80, 85. And yeah, as it says, it's the last 3 to 5 minutes that really counts. I have no clue what it's gonna be. Really don't have any idea. I just know that my road FTP is way higher than this. Not way, but probably like, you know, my last one's probably like 15 watts more. Plan for this winter is gonna be to actually put onto it my TT bike that I use for races, so it should be good. Should be good for training wise. This test will go from I'm fine to I'm toast pretty quickly, and it doesn't lie, it really does go from that to that. It really does go like that. It's funny because I'm just seeing my heart rate just go way higher than it usually would for this kind of effort. It's like 30 degrees outside now. Making excuses, but they're kind of fair excuses. So I'm pushing a nice cadence of around 90, 95. It's about right. Entering my tempo effort range in terms of watts. Definitely into my tempo. Basically around steady state now. So really frustratingly, in a second, my camera's about to overheat and die, and I'm gonna have to change to my 360 footage, which I'm so glad I actually recorded as well as the main camera. But I think it just shows how hot it was in that room. It was about 30 degrees on the day, but that room was sweltering. Even with my really good fan on, it was still absolutely boiling. And I didn't think it was going to actually affect me that much, but after speaking to a few people, looking online, it really did make a difference. And I could tell from being just in zone 2 that my heart rate was about 5 to 10 beats above what it normally is on a cool day or in my basement. Right, so now we've kind of pushed above the FTP, we're pushing above my threshold and going into the dark zone, the hurt locker, as you might call it. Yeah, it really starts to get hard at this point. Regardless of kind of where you're at, there's one point, there's one area, and you'll get past, and things will start to really hurt, and you'll really have to push into that dark place and get over it. For me, it was around that kind of 360 mark, 360 watts, Probably on another day, a bit cooler, it might be a little bit higher. But yeah, I get into the 380 as you can see here, and I'm already struggling. My heart rate is pushing high into kind of, you know, way above what I'd be working at VO2 maxes. And then yeah, when I get into the 400s, I'm just really trying to hold on now. Thinking back to how it's been in the past, definitely a lot harder today. But I was really happy with my cadence. I kept my cadence really high, really pushing hard, and I got through the 400s even though I was dying. My heart rate, as you can see, just peaks at about 181. I think my max is around 185, 186. I think on a better day, yeah, I could have probably pushed a bit harder and gone a bit more, especially maybe even recovered a bit further after T100, as I think it had only been a couple of days. But yeah, that's me pushing through into the hurt locker, into the pain cave, and coming out the other end just looking a mess really.
How do you improve? Okay, that was hard. The heat! I really couldn't push anymore. I felt like my heart rate was just so high. Okay, cool down.
I'm actually pretty disappointed. I need to not be hard on myself because I did have T100 over the weekend and I pushed really hard for that. So, you know, 3 days of recovery since it isn't actually that much. And I've done stuff in between. Like I've done easy swim, one easy swim, one hard swim, one easy bike and one easy run. And lots of physio and stretching. But yeah, like I'm kind of disappointed. My FTP was 302, which it was exactly 302 the last time I did it, which is kind of mad because I've improved so much since last time I did it. But then again, last time I did it, I haven't really done much on the trainer work. So it's really interesting to see how they work, because I know based on times, based on like doing VO2 sessions on the road, and based on doing other sessions on the road or just hill like climbs and seeing my times massively improve on the same bikes by a decent amount too. Like my VO2 max 5x5s on the road, I'm doing them at like 370. I know it's only 5 minutes, you know, but when I last did the ramp test and I got 302 as well, I was struggling to push the VO2 max 5 minute sets on the road of like 330. But then again, interestingly, there was one day it was awful weather, it's ridiculously windy, and I thought, got VO2s on the cards, and I'm not doing them. Like, it was just raining, windy, wasn't having it, and I decided to do them indoors on the turbo, and I was struggling. And on here, because of my 302 FTP, it was only like, they were only like 330s, like 20 to 30, no, 30 to 40, what's different really? Which I find really interesting, how it massively differs. But I guess like just bike handling and bike efficiency on the road is important, and I guess it just shows like you may be aerobically really fit, or you could be, but doesn't mean that's going to translate directly onto the road maybe, I don't know. But yeah, a bit disappointed. I'm not going to make excuses of it's 30 degrees, I've got a fan on, but you know, it only makes so much of a difference. But yeah, 302 is what it is. I'm probably gonna do one again after all my races around the time I go to Mallorca, which will be October. Hopefully the weather will have cooled and I can put out a good hard effort on a ramp test, see what I get. What'll be interesting is that I'll go to Mallorca, I'll do some long hill climbs, and I'll do an hour, film it, record it, make a video from it, just so you guys can see the difference between FTP on this and FTP out there. But still got a lot to work on. My goal is to get towards that 5 watt per kilogram, you know, and that will be per on the road, not on this because I race on the road, not on this, because my 302 puts me, I think, just at 4, like 4.02, whereas my on the road hour puts me at about 4.3. Lots to improve on, but even so, like, to say a year ago I was on an easier trainer, because these things make a difference. These what is it, TAC X, NeoTAC X, I don't know which one it is, but you know, they make a difference. I use my dad's and like I do workouts so much easier, whereas this, do the same workout, same FTP percentage, you know, of watts for the workout, and I find it so much harder. So yeah, it makes a difference. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry you missed this amazing angle. It's a beautiful angle of me absolutely panting for my life, and instead you got side angle, which is all right. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and see you in the next one. Let's keep improving, keep pushing, keep working hard, whatever goals we have, and let's do it. See you later.